Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It is officially 2025, which is like just insane to think about because I feel like 2024 went by so quickly, but like quick enough to think that like I graduated from my course this year, but in my mind I graduated like a year ago because it just feels like 2024 almost didn't exist in a way, at least to me. But because it is the first weekend of 2024, I really just wanted to have like a deep clean of my room. So I have a bin bag for the bin. I'm gonna fully dust everything, maybe rearrange some pictures or get rid of some pictures. Gonna go through my wardrobe, see if there's stuff in there that I no longer use, or just organise it a bit more. It's already like colour coordinated, but there's clothes in there that are in like a basket that are like my jumpers and stuff that I want to go through. I want to go through my entire bookshelf because my sister got me a stamp that as a Christmas gift, and I love it, so I want to go through my books as well and get rid of some of the ones that I no longer read, because there's ones on there from like when I'm a teenager that I don't read that I might get rid of, and then when I'm putting my books back on my shelf I'll stamp them, and I'm so excited to do that. But yeah, that is my plan today, just a very big deep clean of my room to really kickstart the year. I've had like a couple of days to just chill and like get over the late nights and stuff like that, but I'm being productive and I'm filming so that I hold myself accountable for being productive. these are all the ones I'm keeping. That stack over there are the ones I'm getting rid of. I'm just gonna stamp them all, but I wanted to show you what the stamp looked like. Right, brought it down on my level. We're gonna start with the first book I could find, which is Slingshot, one that I very clearly tabbed quite a lot, probably more than I needed to be completely honest. But I have this little ink pad thing, and then the stamp. Just make sure it's the right way when I stamp it. Just down on the ink, and it looks so cool. And that's the stamp. It's so cute. It looks really similar to my tattoo that I have, which was what my sister was going for. So I'm now just going to stamp all of these books as kind of a rest in between. I just have my desks to finish, and then I need to like take the bin and stuff and hoover and mop. But as far as like cleaning and organising goes, I have my desk left, which is behind you guys. You can't see it because it's not facing that way. And change my bedding. And I think that's it. Finish this video by giving you guys a updated tour of the books I have on my bookshelf. My bookshelf isn't that big at the minute. I do want to eventually get another one, but I still have some room on there, so I don't have that many books, and a lot of them I have read because I read a lot of books on my Kindle. But the books I got rid of earlier when I was cleaning out, which was like a massive stack, my mum and my sister just took them to a charity shop this morning, and they came back with some really cheap books that were like €1 each or something. And so I'll show you those ones first because I've not put them on my shelf yet. The first one is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hiller. This is one my mum picked out for me. It's a thriller mystery book. The back of it says, 5 years ago, Gio's first love was revealed as a terrifying serial killer, but he escaped custody and went on the run. Now, bodies have started turning up, killed in exactly the same way as before. The message is clear. He's making his way to her, one murder at a time. So, I love a good thriller book. So, glad they picked this one up. I'm also really excited to stamp these ones like I did my other ones, but I haven't had a chance to do that because they just got back with them. The next one is a bigger book to the shelf, which is Stephen King 11/22/63, which is I don't know if I've read a Stephen King book. I know I have a Spanish version of a Stephen King book on my shelf that I don't know whether I got around to reading it, but I do want to read more books, and this one is like 700 and something pages long, so I'm excited to read some of his books this year as well as this one. But the black synopsis says, on November 22nd, 1963, 3 shots rang out in Dallas. President Kennedy died and the world changed. If you had the chance to change history, would you? Would the consequences be worth it? So, again, interesting concept, and it is a hardback book that is quite heavy. What other ones? The next one is John Green, Paper Towns, one that has been on my reading list for a very, 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 very long time, and they managed to find a paperback version of it there, so I now have it on my bookshelf to read eventually, along with all the other ones I already have on my list to read, but you know, besides the point. The next one is The Mars Room by Rachel Kushner, and this again is another thriller mystery type book. The front cover is really pretty, to be fair. The back says, Romy Hall is starting 2 consecutive life sentences at Stanville Women's Correctional Facility. Her crime, the killing of a stalker. Inside awaits a world where women must hustle and fight for the bare essentials. Outside, the San Francisco of her youth, the Mars Room strip club where she was once a dancer, her 7-year-old son Jackson. As Romy forms friendships over liquor brewed in socks and stories shared through sewage pipes, her future seems to unfurl in one long unwavering line until news from behind the prison bars forces Romy to try and outrun her destiny. Again, sounds very interesting. And the last one, my sister convinced me to be alright about because it's secondhand, so I'm not putting money into her hands, but is Too Late by Colleen Hoover, which again is a thriller, psychological suspense about obsession and dangerous love. The only other thriller I've read by Colleen Hoover was Verity, and I read that ages ago, and I did really enjoy the book. I just didn't enjoy the ending of said book. It just felt very open-ended, and I like to have an ending that actually has an ending and it's not open, because it kind of closes the book nicely for me, whereas leaving it open-ended just lets my mind that already overthinks a lot overthink even more. So I'm hoping this one has an actual ending, but I'm now going to go shelf by shelf of the books that I have on my bookcase. The first ones I have are ones that are lying down along with bookmarks, star stickers, and little post-it notes for annotating books, and they are driver's license books, the theory part of your driving license, because I do eventually want to get my driver's license. What else do I have here? I'm just going to get the first shelf off and then talk about them, because it just seems logical. Okay, so the first 3 books on this shelf are non-fiction. The first one is Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before by Dr. Judy Smith. It's a self-help book. The next is Psych 101, and I love psychology. It's one of my many hyperfixations, obsessions, and I'm really intrigued by it and eventually do want to study psychology, even if it's an online course. So my parents got me this as a Christmas gift a couple of years ago. Next one is another self-help book called Get Your Shit Together. I think a lot of people have probably seen this on social media, me included. Next is The Book Thief, which I do want to read again because I started reading it and then I got really busy at school with exams and stuff, so my brain couldn't concentrate properly, and I got like halfway through and like soft DNF'd it. The next one is one of my favourite books ever, The Way It Used to Be by Amber Smith. Next is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, a series I really want to read this year and finish. Is Akatar. Red, White and Royal Blue, absolutely amazing book. Love this book so much, and the movie was incredible, exactly how I pictured everything while I was reading the book. Next is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. I have books where I share opinions on that one because I've read it. The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This is another series I want to finish this year, as well as reading other sports romances this year. And the last one is called Cuentos Urgentes para un Tiempo Lento. And this is a Spanish book, and it's essentially a collection of short stories / like poems and stuff. And the title of it translates to Urgent Stories for a Slow Time. And this was actually written by my 6th form history teacher, and he signed the book for me when I bought it. And yeah, I'm very proud to have this. He was a great teacher, to be fair. Or I thought he was a great teacher. I got along with him. The next shelf, which is this side. Right, so the books from the shelf next to the last one is House of Salt and Sorrows. I have talked about this book quite a lot since reading it. It's a very unique concept, and I'm gonna buy the second one soon. Next is Slingshot. This is one I actually bought on, I think it was Etsy or something. I did one of those random like book date things, and I picked the genre, and Slingshot is the one that came out. Next is All I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, but it's in Spanish because I bought it here in Spanish. This is by Jojo Moyes or Moyes, and it's The Girl You Left Behind. So this is actually one my sister had and she didn't want anymore. It's also in Spanish, but I kept it because I want to read in Spanish a bit more this year. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Love that book. I'm going to reread it. The next one is the Salem's Lot book by Stephen King, which I talked about earlier. It's the Spanish edition. I did start it, but my brain couldn't get into it properly because it was in Spanish, which is why I want to read more Spanish literature this year. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Or Doya, or I hope I'm saying his name right. But this again, I think this is a historical fiction or something like that. But very excited to get that read at some point this year. This was actually one of the first books I read when I was trying to get back into reading, before I fully got back into reading, like a few years ago, which is Blood, Water, Paint by Joy Mikalau. It's a mixture of like poetry and fiction, like narration. It was very interesting to read. There's some definite like hard, tough topics, sensitive topics in this book that are just so beautifully written. I love the way it goes back and forth between two different styles of writing and genres of writing, and I think I gave this one like 4 or 5 stars when I read it, so definitely a good book. Next one, 1984 by George Orwell. Want to read very soon. I did read this book and I did enjoy it. It is Spy the Lie, again another psychology type book, and the last one is by Michael Mapergo, All Alone on a Wide, Wide Sea. This is a blast from the past. I haven't read this book for a very long time. I've read it, I think, in like year 7 of secondary school. Like the first year I was in secondary school back in England, so like over 9 years ago. And I remember really enjoying it, but that's all I can really say about it. So again, another book I want to reread. There's lots of books I'm finding that I want to reread on my shelves. But that's where I keep my books, because I want to be able to go back to them, and even though it's not the first time reading them, which does make it different, I want to be able to see if I feel the same way about the books like X amount of time after I read them. They're all back on the shelf. The shelf underneath it is just the World of Peter Rabbit books I have from my granddad. They have their own shelf because it's a full-on box set and it deserves its own shelf. And then the last one over here is the mix match shelf, as I like to call it, which is essentially the Maze Runner series books minus the third one, because this is the one I'm still reading. I didn't manage to accomplish my goal, which was to read these before 2024 finished, but I'm hoping to read them by the time January finishes, so I can upload those videos. I'm going to finish the third one pretty soon. I'm at the point where I know something is going to happen in the book and it's going to really make me cry and upset me, and so I'm kind of don't want to finish the book and get to that part, but I need to, so I can continue the series and finish it. So I'm going to force myself and I'm going to push through and probably cry, but you'll see that in the full-on like Maze Runner video when it goes out. It will be a 2-part video, books 1 through 3 and then 4 and 5 in the second part. And then these are all the books I got from my sister that are all in Spanish, and this is called Waves of Crime. And I'm not really sure what it's about, but it seemed interesting when my sister gave it to me. The handwriting in this, not handwriting, but the writing in this is pretty big, so maybe I'll get around to reading that. This is a non-fiction book about the Parliament debate that happened here in Spain, which I thought was interesting. This is another book that I don't really know what these ones are. I know I wanted to keep them just to, you know, have them. Why not? I don't think it's like Pride and Prejudice or anything like that. Anytime I see Keira Knightley's face, I just think of certain films she's been in. And then another maybe non-fiction book, possibly, which is called Life in the Nude. So essentially all the nitty-gritty stuff of life is what the title's referring to. I'll get round to reading them at some point, so I'm just going to put these ones back on my shelf down here and add my new ones to it. I hope they fit. If not, I will figure out what to do with them. Well, to be fair, the Maze Runner ones won't be staying up here because they're actually my sister's, which I think I said earlier, because that's why I didn't stamp them, because they're not mine, they're my my sister's. But they're up here at the minute because I'm currently reading it and she's not. So I thought, why not? I think they might all fit except for the big old Stephen King book, because that is a thick book. So I might just have to place you down like that. But yeah, that is my first video for 2025 finished. It's crazy to me that it's 2025 already, and like I feel like 2024 just flew by completely, because I feel like when I talk about, for example, graduating, which I graduated in June of 2024, my brain goes back to not even counting 2024 because it just went by that quickly, and it was very mixture, up and down, very high highs but very low lows, and just a weird mixture of life. But you know, I have a lot of hope for 2025, and I have a lot of hopes for my channel, for my personal life, hopefully, you know, getting a job, so that's one less thing to worry about. And yeah, I just want 2025 to be like not just my year, because I obviously want happiness and everything for you guys as well, but my year in the sense of I just want it to be good and happy, and the people that are in my life and that count I want to stay, and I want any bad negative stuff out of my life because I just don't want it. I want to form good habits. I'm going to start a 75 like soft / medium day challenge thing with my sister to get me back into like healthy eating, and I want to take up running this year, and I want to build healthy habits, and I want to make sure I'm uploading at least one video a week for you guys, because it's a goal of mine that I am setting for myself. I think this video won't be going up until the second weekend of January, just because I wanted to give myself a little bit of break after the Vlogmas videos and stuff I filmed. But overall, very, very just positive about 2025, and I hope you stick along for the journey, and any videos I do, because a lot of them will be reading stuff, but there'll also be some other things like vlogs and things like that mixed in there, just because why not? Like, I just love this channel to be a place where I can just show all sides of my personality, and vlogs give you a really good insight to that. Reading vlogs and reading videos are a good insight to me as a reader, what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, and things like that. But I want you to get to know me not just as a reader but as a person as well, which is why I want to do different types of videos. And yeah, I will hopefully see you in